when you go, I'm going to write a series, where do you start? How do you start?
Yeah. So I mean, we'll just like start off with like a huge question because it's hard. I feel like every series is a little bit different. But of course, any book idea, series or otherwise, will start with that seed, that little
Mm-hmm.
spark of inspiration. For me, a lot of the times it's a what if, or maybe it's a specific fairy tale that I get really excited about, or maybe you just have an idea for like something, a conflict, or ideas come from everywhere, you know this.
Right.
So for me, if I know it's going to be a series, if I know it's going to stretch over multiple books, I'm immediately starting to think about what is my biggest conflict going to be? What is the end goal of the series? Is this going to be a revolution of some sort? Is there going to be a taking down of the evil empire? Is there a big bad villain that needs to be defeated? If it's well, for me, my series have all been kind of on that more like epic fantasy sci-fi scale. But of course, in romance, if you're writing a romance series, is there going to be the happy ending at the
Mm-hmm.
ending? Is there going to be a tragic ending? Like, what is the big thing that we're trying to accomplish over the course of these books? And then I start thinking about, well, how can I take that big thing and break it into smaller chunks? Because, of course, if we solve the big problem in book one, it's probably not supposed to be a series. So I will think about what is a smaller problem that can be solved in every book of the series. Maybe there's a lesser bad guy, a minion, or like a side character that we can defeat in the course of the series. Or is there something the main character can accomplish in book one or in book two that kind of furthers them on this goal? So I start thinking about what are some of the major moments that is going to lead us toward that big conclusion at the end, and kind of start slating it into the books that way.
So then you really do look at the big picture before you start even writing book one. Is that right?
I do. I
Yeah.
do.
Okay.
Hmm.
So I think a lot of people ask, and we might have some of these questions already in the list already, but I think a lot of people ask, how much of it do you have to have figured out before you're like, okay, I can start writing book one now?
Yeah, it really depends. For the Lunar Chronicles, I had things really figured out. I knew who were going to be, what fairy tales I was going to retell. I knew kind of who were the characters that I was going to introduce in each book. I knew how those characters were going to kind of fit together into the overall story. I knew like what the climax of each book was going to be, like what was the big dramatic thing that was going to happen at the end of every book.
Hmm.
So for that series, I had things very figured out. Kind of similarly for Gilded and Cursed, I knew exactly where the end point of book one was going to be, and then how that was going to launch us into book two. And again, had a pretty clear idea of kind of the overall trajectory of the story over the course of the two books.
Right.
For me, Renegades was kind of the outlier where I had an idea of the villain and what was going to happen over the second and third books. But that was more of an exploratory book. So I had some thoughts over where books two and three were going to go, but it wasn't quite as planned out as my other series have been.
Yeah, yeah. If you enjoyed this video, we've got a lot more on writingmastery.com. Check the description for links to our blog, free writing tools, and more. Happy writing.